What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We back here with some more SABATON. This time we checking out the title track from the album Carolus Rex. Okay, down here they got a small little description. Following the passing of his father, Charles, known as Carolus Rex, became king of Sweden at the age of 15. The quiet but determined king had been brought up to rule as an absolute monarch. Now, the only thing that they kind of leave out is absolute monarch doesn't always mean a good monarch, right? Just absolute meaning dominating, but for the good or for the worst. We about to find out. Let's go ahead, shut up and tear it up. Judging by the tones of this this sound, sounds a little bit more evil. But you know, it could kind of go both ways, you know. But SABATON, for the most part, focuses on they focus on war history in general, you know, but they also focus on, you know, all aspects, you know, both the good side and the evil side. So that's why I could literally be both. And with me not having any prior knowledge, right, that's what makes it interesting. But I'm pretty sure he's a good, you know, in this case, absolute. It's probably a good thing. About to learn today, though. That rhythm right there. Now that is an absolute rhythm. Just the way that the cadence, dum 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 dum. You hear it all the time in like other type of movies and stuff where they show like an absolute unit showing up. This type of tone, not tones, but this type of rhythms and accents and stuff on the instrumentation always kind of gives it away. Isn't that interesting? What music can do to us, kind of like what it can tell us without even saying a word. That's the power of music, baby. Power of music.
It's my time to rule at last. 15 years have I been waiting to sit up on my throne.
Okay, so based off what he just said right there, this is something that Carolus Rex has been wanting, right? Lately I've been watching a whole bunch of Game of Thrones, and one of the kings, what was his name? I forgot his name. He didn't want to become king. It kind of was forced upon him. And I'm guessing, you know, at age 15, you know, for the most part, in all intents and purposes, you're still a child. You know what I mean? So you don't necessarily know what you want. But based off what Joakim is telling me right here, this is something he's been wanting, right? And I don't think at the age of 15, a lot of kids know what they want in life. Maybe that is why it contributed to him being an absolute unit.
No allegiance, I will swear no oath. From by God, not by the church, as my power is divine.
Okay, you can look at it as two ways, as kind of like, you know how some people can ascend to the throne by birthright. So, you know, no allegiance and everything, it's mine by God's right, because God gives life. You know what I mean? So by his will, it was my crown to inherit. Or they could be literally talking about, you know, of a divinity state.
God, not by the church, as my power is divine.
But he said, not by the church, but my power is divine. So it's a self-proclaimed divinity.
They thought I was too young to rule the land. Just as they failed to understand how to rule. My time has come. I was chosen by heaven.
Oh, okay, here we go.
When you pray to the sky, see Carolus rise.
Carolus.
With the Lord my protector, make them bow to my will. To the sky, see Carolus rise.
This hook is interesting. The structure of that hook is different outside of what we usually hear. Okay, so when he said not by the church, he was talking about it wasn't by man's doing. Okay, so scratch all that, what I was talking about, because for the most part, inheriting the thrones and all of that by birthright and stuff, at the end of the day, those are all man set rules. But Carolus said, regardless of what rules that you guys have set, I was destined to rule. This is beyond any mortal person on this planet. That's some absolute thinking right there, if I do say so myself. Here's the one thing. The one thing that I have to question is, he wasn't put there by the church, right? So I'm guessing, did the church object? You know what I mean? Because everybody agreed that he was the one that was put there by the heavens, right? And then depending on, well, I would say depending on the time, because we get the time frame. I'm not really too sure what was going on in that time. But I do know that there were some civilizations that was ruled by a holy order, right? Where they would decide the kings and queens and punishments and stuff by the church, right? I think that's that whole entire thing with some civilizations and cultures and countries where they separate the church from the state, right? So now it's governed by a different set of rules. So in this case, it looks like maybe it was governed by the church to start instituting that type of law, where it's like, this is a God-given thing. Because I'm sitting here wondering, where was his support? It must have been from the church, if that's how the land was governed.
All for myself, I have claimed the throne, born to rule. My time is now. I was chosen by heaven. Say my name when you pray to the sky. See Carolus rise. With the Lord my protector, make a bow to my will. To the sky. See Carolus rise. To the sky. See Carolus rise.
And the hook has a sense of anthemness to it, which is why it seems so irregular, right? The do do do, like something that's just meant to be sung without having to be on unnecessarily tempo. You know what I mean? There's a couple of anthems out there that just kind of sounds good regardless of whatever tempo you're at, just because of the way that it's structured. That's the way that this hook is structured, even though it is, you know, even though it does follow tempo, it can follow a loose tempo and still sound good, you know, especially that last part where they're sustaining it. You know, if you're singing this in a whole bunch of crowds, some people are going to sustain it longer than it needs to be, but it's still going to sound good. This is a anthem sound. Like most of their stuff sounds like an anthem, but this one for the most part is really sounding anthem-y.
Shall be mine, there's no stopping me. All over Europe, my rule shall be questioned by none.
Europe, yeah.
All I see, give to me, that is my decree. My will be done.
Just a heaven sent solo.
Love it.
Say my name when you pray to the sky. and it's further backed by the choir, right? Giving it a little bit more of those angelic vibes. As a matter of fact, you know, modulation is not always needed in every song, but it's well placed here, because modulation is if you give me, it's not a whole step. I think it's a half step up, right up the scale. So a half step. It's just another, you know, quick way to elevate the song without changing a whole lot of elements, to still give it a new type of feeling and everything. But in this sense, with him being of it, or in the mind of an ascended individual chose by the heavens, it would make sense to kind of go a little bit above, right? Because he's been singing with us lowly peasants down here, but he needs to remind us that at the end of the day, he is above us. Well, this has been very, very interesting. Of course, I read you guys' comments down there. So if y'all want to drop some more history knowledge on me, I'll be very appreciative to read that. That's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.